Minecraft PvP. Is it difficult? We'll make it easier for you in these 5 tips.
Netcasts you love from people you trust. This is Twit.
This episode of OMG Craft is brought to you by Hover.com. Hover is the best way to buy and manage domain names. It's simple, honest, and easy to use. For 10% off your first purchase, go to Hover.com and enter promo code OMG5. Hello and welcome to OMG Craft. I'm your host, OMGchad. This is a show that'll teach you how to become a Minecraft expert in no time. On this episode, we're going to talk about PvP, or player versus player. There's a whole bunch of different types of games, scenarios, maps, all for PvP. And these are some tips that should help you in these types of scenarios. And if PvP isn't your thing, all of these tips are great for just attacking mobs. So first, let's talk about swords, the staple of player versus player. These first 2 swords, wooden and gold, both will attack with 2.5 hearts of damage. Once you upgrade to stone, that will attack for 3 hearts of damage. Iron, 3.5, and diamond, 4 hearts of damage. So that's how the damage works out on these swords. Next, let's talk about block hitting. Block hitting is pretty simple. You're going to attack and defend at the same time. You're basically going to click right and left button at the same time, and that means that every once in a while there's a chance that you'll be blocking while the other person is attacking, and therefore if they attack right when you're in the middle of your block, they will only give you half damage. That's what blocking does. Some disadvantages to this are that you will move slower because when you're blocking, you move slower. So it's much better to block hit when you are in a tunnel, not out in the open, because people will strafe around you and just kill you. Now let's talk about critical hits. Critical hits are achieved when you are falling through the air and sprinting. This will be denoted by particles flying off of the character that you've just hit. Critical hits will give you a up to 50% more damage plus half a heart. That is a random number depending on what the game will give you. Critical hits can also be done by firing arrows when they are at full capacity, when you're pulling your bow back all the way, and you'll see particles flying off of the arrow to denote that that will be a critical hit. Moving on to tip number 2, angular bridging. Bridging is a staple of PvP. Many people will bridge in one direction, just like this. But if you turn to your side, you'll actually be able to place blocks much faster, as you can see, versus just going straight back, much slower. There are 3 more tips that we need to talk about, but first, if you have a great idea, you need to secure it with a great domain name. Hover takes all the hassle and friction out of registering a domain name. All you have to do is search for a few keywords, and Hover will show you the best available options and suggestions. And don't add any weird dashes or articles to your domain name. For example, with the new .club domain name from Hover, this is a great way to have a name for a club, a social group, sports club, or even Facebook group. Visit Hover.com today to register your domain name, and for 10% off your first purchase, I have a special deal for you. Go to Hover.com and use promo code OMG5. And we thank Hover for their support of OMG Craft. So next, let's talk about potions. Potions can be easily underestimated. Any helpful potion like strength, regeneration, or speed can really turn the tide in absolutely any fight. So never underestimate the power of potions. Next, enchanting. Everyone knows adding enchantments to your armor can make a huge difference, specifically protection. Protection will protect you from all sorts of arrow fire, falling damage. Protection is kind of the catch-all. If you can't get protection, of course, fire protection, feather falling, blast protection, projectile protection will help you in any battle. Tip number 5. This is all about equipment. The equipment that you carry with you can make all the difference. And also, this covers things like tools. Remember, a diamond shovel hurts the same as a wooden sword. 2.5 hearts of damage. So let's cover some of the other things that you should carry while you're fighting. Some of the items that are always great to carry with you, not feathers or seeds, I just picked those up while roaming around, are ender pearls. Ender pearls will easily allow you to teleport away from a fight. Next is a water bucket. Make sure that you have this in case you need to get out of a sticky lava situation quickly, or if you're falling, you can always place this down to break a fall, just like that. I actually picked it up pretty quick after I did that, so maybe you didn't see, but if you jump and drop it, you can fall into the water. Next is flint and steel. Flint and steel is always useful when fighting against players or poor chickens because, well, it hurts them and you get tasty chicken out of it when you're done. And then finally, milk. And milk is easily overlooked. If you've been hit with poison or any adverse potion effect, milk, when drank, will get rid of that potion effect. And finally, when fighting mobs, not really players, but mobs, there is a damage immunity that they have. While the mob is red, as you can see with this pigman, he's actually immune to any more damage. So we'll hit another one, and if I hit him while he's in the air, it's actually not doing anything, but it is degrading whatever tool that I'm using. So you may actually hit a mob while he's still immune, and it will cause no effect. If you hit and wait, you will be able to time your attacks much better. And also, sword attacks do have a time delay in them, so it will only attack as long as your sword is in motion. If you listen to how many times I'm clicking, it does not directly translate to the amount of times that my sword is swinging. That's because if I happen to be swinging the sword, or if the game is animating the sword swing, at the same time that I click, it won't actually animate the next sword swing, or won't even attempt to start it until I click another time. So a much easier way to do this, and a precise way to do this, and you can kind of see that the sword swing is just a little bit erratic. It's not really working 100% of the time, all the time. Well, I'm also having a hard time clicking this mouse right next to the microphone here. But an easier way to do it is to slow down your clicks so that every click will matter, and you, if you get the timing just right, you'll be hitting a sword attack every single time that you possibly can. And that about wraps it up for this PvP-centric episode of OMG Craft. I hope you like all 5 tips. If you'd like to send us your feedback or suggestions, feel free to email me at mail@omgcraft.com. Make sure you subscribe to the show to get all future episodes at youtube.com/omgcraft. And you can follow my personal YouTube channel, which I do upload different things like Minecraft Let's Plays and vlogs at youtube.com/omgchad. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.